So far, everything seems good, but then, well, what's this? Promote American civilization. Reconstitute the USA into one united republic. What exactly does this mean? Here.
What does it mean? If only there was a fucking speech up where you could click the timestamp and learn about what it means. If only we actually had a program on our website that actually explains what that means. Again, this guy is like pretending to be like Scooby-Doo. Like he's some kind of like investigative journalist pretending that things are mysteries that are not mysteries. I would love to see what interpretation he put. He's just relying on, which is true. It's just the sad truth. Most people are not going to go to acp.us/program. Most people are not going to find this video and click the timestamp for themselves. They're just going to lazily sit back, smoke pot, eat Dorito chips, and take whatever this guy says at face value because it's just convenient for them. Because they want to believe whatever he has to say.
Haas makes a curious reference to Canada.
We all love our country, which we know as the United States of America, though some of you live in Canada.
Curious reference. Very curious. It's like something we're trying to hide. It's like he's a detective and that was just a clue. And he's uncovering something. Where we say in our Constitution that the territory encompassed by the United States and Canada is one nation.
Notice that it includes both the United States and Canada, and over on Twitter, Jackson Hinkle has made statements like, the war to liberate Canada will not be a war on the people of Canada, it will be a war to liberate Canada from the British globalists, and Manifest Destiny is not complete until the US liberates Canada, and why are we spending so much money on Ukraine when we can so easily complete Manifest Destiny and liberate Canada? I'm sure many of you are already familiar.
Okay. And I'm sure all the JD Pond Don memes and all of that is like an official position by an organization when someone fucking... And like people will get confused because like, what do you mean it's a meme? Like you're saying there was nothing serious about it? No, there obviously is a real kernel of seriousness. But the idea that Jackson is officially trying to give expression to a literal call for war instead of expressing the sentiment that, as a matter of fact, Canada's part of the British Commonwealth, and instead of attacking Russia and attacking China, we should look more inwards, I guess. I don't care what your views on Manifest Destiny are. Make them whatever you want them to be. But don't say it's curious for a founding member of the American Communist Party to cite it approvingly, when it was the standard Marxist position, always, that it was historically progressive. Not just by Karl Marx himself, not just by Frederick Engels, not just by Lenin, not just by the CPUSA. From day one, you are free to critique that position. I'm not limiting your freedom to deviate from that standard position. I am limiting your freedom, Brandon, to somehow say it is bizarre or out of the ordinary for a Marxist or a communist. So, look, this is what we say about American civilization. It has nothing to do with Jackson's tweets that he made a year before the party was launched about Manifest Destiny on Canada, okay? What it says is we want to discover and cultivate a national continental American culture on the basis of its unique history, geography, and ethnic makeup. We want to promote language, autonomy, and economic development for the American tribes. And we want to unify the nation across all racial antagonisms. We want one unified American identity, and we want to overcome racial division. So that's what that means. Or is this fucking crazy that I have to do this? And it's not self-evident to people because they're too fucking lazy to investigate it. What has the ACP said about any kind of unification between the U.S. and Canada? If only the party has articulated an official public position on the matter. If only. Here is what we actually have communicated on the question of Panama. So, statement on Trump and Panama, December 25th, 2024, when it was released. And here is what we released on our X account on the question of Canada. With respect to Trump's comments on Canada and Greenland, the party would like to take special attention to the complexity surrounding the issue. Canada, a member of the British Commonwealth, has long been a bulwark of Atlanticist reaction and has exerted a reactionary influence upon the development of the United States. Standard Marxist position for Frederick Engels, who regarded Canada as a reactionary bulwark, standard position for American communists like William Z. Foster, who was the son of Fenians. If you don't know who Fenians were, they were Irish people who went up and fought the British in Canada and wanted to have Canada and the USA be one united republic, which was a standard American position actually for a long time before the mid-century of the 20th century. It has long been the aspiration of the American revolutionary tradition, as well as the view of Marx and Engels themselves, for Canada to be included in the United States. That is very true. However, it is necessary to consider carefully the conditions under which such an annexation would take place. Any violation of the sovereignty of any people anywhere is simultaneously a violation of the sovereignty of the American people themselves. The same apparatuses of imperial and neo-colonial control, which bypass democratic constitution and sovereign legitimation, will and have inevitably been applied to the American people themselves. We reject any pretext for the U.S. regime to expand its powers beyond those enumerated by the Constitution. If it deepens the rift between his administration and NATO, we remain open to the possibility that such developments might have progressive significance, because we support the aim of exiting from NATO.
Of the U.S., whether or not the Canadians want it. The idea of annexing Canada is an old American imperial goal. The Continental Army attempted and failed to conquer Canada in the Revolutionary War, and the U.S.
Oh, so you're saying it didn't start with LaRouche?
tried again and failed during the War of 1812, and since then there have been no serious attempts to annex Canada, and not that much talk about it. The idea...
That is not true. The idea that there was no talk... Okay, look what he just said. There was no serious talk about it. All right, 1888. This is what Engels said in 1888 in a letter to Sorge. In 10 years, sleepy Canada will be ripe for annexation. The farmers will demand it themselves. The country's already half annexed socially. It will abolish this ridiculous boundary line. And when time comes, John Bull will say amen to this matter. The first Google result for a supposedly unserious notion, right? I guess Engels was a LaRoucheite. I guess that was a LaRoucheite thing. I guess LaRouche took a fucking time machine and made Engels have that sentiment. Or why don't you just put two and two together? If you're a Marxist committed to the American revolutionary tradition, and you are trying to deepen that tradition, you're probably going to have to come to terms with the fact that our northern neighbor is still a member of the British Commonwealth.